So I see they have junk food here in Ivory Coast too.
Yeah.
Nasty Burger King.
Nice, that's good. That's convenient. That's what I say.
Yeah. Full serve.
So I'm not even sure I go back to the US and pump my gas again. That's it. Spoiled for life. Do the reverse. Leave here and go to the US and get used to doing everything by yourself, but not leave the US and come here and then go back and start by doing everything by yourself. I haven't cooked in like 4 or 5 years. In the city I had to cook to feed myself. But yeah, don't even try.
Would you go back?
I've been asked that question. Actually, a headhunter contacted me. I thought about it, but I'd rather fight out here and try to figure out it. Because I can really make a mark out here. Over there, I'll still be an African in America.
Right.
Here, I could be an industry leader if I put my mind to it. And all that hustle I've learned in the US, I'd rather put into good use out here.
So why be an African American when you could be an industry leader in Africa?
Yeah, exactly. Because I always go back to that baggage about America. Race will still be an issue. Let's say I've dealt with successful African Americans out there, leaders in their industries, but still, when it comes to the good old boys club, the white people got it on lock. So even though you're successful, you still feel silent somehow or left behind because you're one of a few within your industry at the top. Once you reach that top level, it's kind of lonely. All those successful people out there will tell you that it's only a few of them at that level, so they tend to stick together or learn from each other. And I think it's a little bit of an impediment. You have to worry about watching your back because you made it to that level, because somebody from the majority might try to take it away from you. Out here, again, it's not all perfect, but still an opportunity to make a mark for yourself and be an inspiration for a lot of young brothers out here that are unemployed, that are still thinking that going to Europe or to another country is the grail, the holy grail, but hell is everywhere on earth, so I'd rather suffer at home than somebody else's country. So.
Right.
And they won't believe you because the movies and all that only show you the. Do you believe that I met people that asked me why did you come back?
Of course.
I want to go back because it's paradise. I'm like, have you heard of homeless people? Tell me how many homeless people are you seeing here in Africa sleeping in the street? Don't say that it doesn't exist, but it's not as many.
As in, you went to Skid Row with me.
Yeah,
you used to go to Skid Row on me. So me and John used to come to Skid Row with me and feed the homeless on Skid Row. So you've seen it
and that's another thing about Africa. It's harder for you to be homeless, even if your family member doesn't provide. Another neighbor, somebody that's seen you growing up, could be like, hey, there's a patio in my house. You can sleep out there if you want.
Right.
But sleeping in the street is just like the lowest of the low.
Right.
Like you don't have anybody else. Bonsoir. Je peux avoir 5,000 de super. Because I met people in America, I talked to this white guy. I'm like, how did you end up on the street? It's like, I lost my job and we got evicted. My wife left with the kids and I started drinking. I ended up on the street. I'm like, don't you have any siblings that you could stay with? It's like, I have a brother and sister in California. That was in Atlanta, mind you. It's like, they say they have their own families that are not any of their concern. That's how you ended up sleeping on the street.
Wow.
If I have a brother and a sister, I'll never sleep on the street. And then they are. Or even friends from high school be like, yeah, I heard John-Luc is going for a tough time. You can stay in my house or sleeping on the couch for a little while.
All right, so before we were cut off, you were telling me the story about the white guy and
homeless in America.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It's all about brotherhood and watching each other's back here in Africa. You know, to a certain extent, in terms of how family is important, family values, and looking after your neighbor, and the expression it takes a village to raise a child still applies here. your child messes up the neighborhood, you still reprimand him and steer him back onto the right path. I think that's what's being lost in the Western world, where kids are talking back to their parents and doing any and everything. Still need those guidelines to make our level-headed adults. There's no boundaries. You get lost.
Wow.
You get that out here from people around you. You're not just by yourself. You're raising your child. Everybody will lend a hand, lend a helping hand. And I think it makes for a more cohesive society, which we lose in the rugged individualism of the West, mainly in America. Same thing in Europe too, where you don't know your neighbor. You may be living on the same floor for 10 years. You don't even know who your next door neighbor is. Brings me back to another story. My friend's grandmother in Florida, she had died for 2 weeks before anybody noticed. Her daughter kept calling her, no answer. Neighbors, they haven't seen her. They chose to mind their business, quote unquote. But the lady had died in her sleep. It took 2 weeks when she wasn't returning calls. Somebody walked in and found her dead in her bed. Like, couldn't happen here. Don't see you for a couple of days, calling nosy or whatnot. They'll be calling your kids and be like, we haven't seen your mom in a couple of days. Can you come and make sure she's okay? Like, stories like that make me happy that I'm back home.
Wow.
Because I can truly see the difference between life over there and life out here. It's cultural, but it's a culture that's fairly cohesive, that's helping the individuals progress mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Believe that over there you have to fend for yourself, and that's why you have a lot of stress and depression, because I think human beings, we pack animals, we love to be part of a group, but if the society's fabric makes us live individually, I think it's tough for a lot of people to adapt to that. That's why they get depressed and bullied and become sociopath. You never know. If you have a cohesive social unit around you, I think you're much more able to contribute to society in a positive manner. So at least that's about the way I think about it.
But I think the takeaway from this build is you rather be an industry leader in Africa than just an African in America.
In America, that's how.
Yeah, that's the takeaway. That's the takeaway.
How successful I'll still be an African in America. Not even African American, an African, so it's double strike. I speak with an accent. I'm black, and I'm not even from there. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that, John Lou. You know, I enjoy just documenting conversations like this. I think people, they find the value in conversations like this. So currently we are in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivory. Did I say it right? Côte d'Ivoire. Sorry, I butchered it.
Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire. So we're about to go out and hit the streets a little bit. So stay tuned.
You have a lot of pictures to take at that place.